Hi. Most people set themselves up to lose. They chase someone else's arbitrary standard, expect some perfect result, and feel like shit when they don't hit it. But happiness, it comes from the opposite. Go in humbly, expect the fight, and when you do better, walk out proud. I was off track in my life, just following along, being pulled by whatever stimulus came along, and not getting anywhere intentionally. I found the secret of that. Join us. And after the workout, stick around because I've got a hack to being happier with what happens in your life. You can choose how you're going to feel about a thing by the standards you set heading into that thing. Stick around. Good morning. Welcome to day 32 of the 5 a.m. Squat Club, where we're building a morning routine together so that we can ensure that we make time for our goals and that we make progress towards the people that we want to be. Because life very easily gets in the way of that if you let it. So I'm going to start getting the body warmed up. Join along with me or do your own warm-up. And as we do that, I'm just going to blab about things on my mind. Feel free to in the comments ask questions. If there are things that are on your mind, happy to blab about them. Whether you like my opinion on it or not. So the warm-up looks like this, and I'll put this on the screen. I go through 2 rounds. The warm-up's always the same here. I'm going to go some knee raises to warm up the hip flexors. Good mornings. Whew. Posterior chain. I'll do some lunges. Lower body. I'll do some burpees. Do more of those today. Just feeling a little stiff. Make sure the shoulders get warmed up. And then I'll do some squats. All right. And then while we do that, we'll do affirmations. Stick with that. We'll put the today I choose to be patient back in there. Just thinking about that last night again. And 2 days ago, I put in today I choose to be kind. And those are both really important still. It's almost like they're the same, because I think if I can be patient in how I respond, my response is more likely to be kind. It's when the time between stimulus and response is not controlled that my reaction, tends to be snappy. And I used to have call it mindfulness meditation practice. I've heard that's the way. Basically create time between stimulus and response to become aware that you're having thoughts. But they don't define you. They are not you. They're just your thoughts. And then you can react a little more how you'd like, as opposed to default snap reaction. So, on that note, I am responsible. Today, choose to be patient. Something wonderful is about to happen. I have all I need to succeed today. I will focus on progress, not perfection. I choose gratitude. It's cool to see those affirmations starting to kind of show up in our lives a little bit. I'm sure I've mentioned here before, but when when the girls wake up, don't you do that. When the girls wake up, I go up, hop into bed with them for a minute, and we do those affirmations together. And I'm starting another thing. That at the dinner table, we're doing our version of grace. Call it. And this was actually inspired by a friend who came by the other day who's got, a family history of saying grace at meals, and he said it for us. And, I don't think saying grace necessarily needs to be a religious thing. Maybe if you call it grace, it is, but, we went over it at dinner the other night, and I just said, I just want to remember that I'm grateful, for this food, for this roof over our head, for this, beautiful and improving piece of land that we get to steward and raise our food on. And most importantly, for these people sitting at the table with us. And it's amazing how just saying words can make you feel a different way, can change your chemistry for a moment, or for however long. And while we were doing that, or after we did that, or was it good mornings? I asked my older daughter, who's 3 right now, hey, did you notice the wonderful things that happened today? So we're reviewing those affirmations and affirming that, hey, something wonderful did happen. If I pay attention, there were many things that I could consider wonderful that happened there. And at the same time, we're practicing gratitude. Right? We're replaying those moments that were wonderful and reminding ourselves, how fantastic our life is if we allow ourselves to look at it that way. So it's neat that, as someone who, generally thought affirmations were a little silly, and starting to repeat them more and more, and maybe that's why I'm starting to feel more value in them, starting to see them show up in ways that are more tangible, potentially. Let's go through them one more time. That's getting a long warm up, but I need to warm up the shoulders a little bit. I'm going to do alternating EMOM, I think, today, of some sort of shoulder overhead, either press, push, press, push, jerk. I'm going to say this again, so forget it. And then some kind of pull. On that note, I'll just do a little more warm up. I'm going to go probably 2 sets of 10 T's here, and then 10 Y's. Y, T. Do affirmations when I do this. I am responsible. Today, I choose to be patient. Something wonderful is about to happen. I have all I need to succeed today. I will focus on progress, not perfection. I choose gratitude. Okay. Welcome to those of you that skipped ahead, day 32 or 33, 32, 5 a.m. Squat Club, where we're here changing our lives together by building a morning habit that forces progress. Excuse me. So this morning, what we're going to do is an alternating EMOM. Once again, EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. Just a format that, we can use to create a little bit of intensity, but at the same time, build in some rest. So we're going to alternate between 2 movements. I haven't fully decided on the one movement yet, just based on how my shoulders feel, we'll see. But potentially we'll go a little heavier today. And we're going to go with either a press, a push press, or a push jerk, just depending on what you're feeling like today, just getting something overhead. And we're going to alternate with that with, call it a bent over row or pendlay row. I think what I'll aim to do is have the same weight for both movements so that we don't have to switch unless you had, 2 barbells or 2 whatever pieces of load you're using. And just to make sure that this is accessible, if you don't have load or you're new to this and you're just starting out, the PVC stick press, bent over row, and then from there, right, the scaling options are infinite. You can add any sort of load to that is accessible to you. Let's see. I may go heavier than this, so just to make sure that warming up properly, I'll do a warm-up set here and then there. So if you're already warm, you don't need to continue warming up. You can skip ahead to the workout. I'm just going to test this out. Let's see how we're feeling with a push press. I feel like push jerk is what I want to do. It'll all depend on how the row feels. Yeah, so the option is go with this kind of lighter weight and go higher reps, or with a heavier barbell and do fewer. My temptation is heavier. Okay, let's try that. So we'll go push jerks then. We'll go 125. Except this collar is so mangled. Look at that thing. Barely works at all. Okay. So you don't need to make this, call it a heavier day if you don't want. I'm seeing I'm seeing that there are other people on YouTube that do everyday workouts posted on their end. You see in the comments, people talking about recovery and all that. And it's interesting, the people that do it, you just hear that they just listen to their bodies, right? On the days that things don't feel as good, They don't not do it. They just don't crush themselves, right? Call it a active recovery day or light day. Now I'm super intimidated by the barbell, so let me try it for one before we go here. Who knows if this floor is made for this? Oh, oh God. Crushing. Yeah, okay. All right. I think I'll aim for 5 and 5. We'll go 10 minutes, alternating 5 push jerks 1 minute, 5 rows the next. Oh, this is going to be rough. I'm sure I've mentioned before the heavy barbell is not my strength. We're late this morning. Okay, let's get started moving here. If you're new, thanks for joining us. If you're returning, thanks even more. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Join us because we're here every day changing our lives together. You don't have to do it alone. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start with the row. All right. What is happening? Who's up? Morning, Fred. Okay. 1 down. That wasn't too bad. I think the jerks are probably going to be a little more tiring. Supporting the barbell. We'll see. And hopefully I don't, like drop a bar on that computer, get out of control in here. It's a little tight for space. Make do. Like that. Feels nice. Doesn't take too long, so hopefully be able to recover routine pretty well. It's so light out already. Very interested to see what it'd be like to do that outside. It's gonna happen. That one's definitely more tiring than the row. All right. Hey. Oh. All right. We're in it. Seems like a lot of rest. Here we go. All right. How nice it would be to be able to dump the barbell in. Let that mic a little bit lower, hopefully you can hear. Hopefully you're following along doing this with me. I'm sure this section is pretty boring to watch. If not, otherwise you can skip to moments of clarity. Halfway. The more I make these videos and watch them, the more reminders I get, kind of just like those affirmations of my posture. So I have definitely a tendency towards more of that. So I get to watch myself standing poorly every day when I watch those videos. Get up, stand tall, get your shoulders back. It's per Jordan Peterson. Hopefully I can get a good thumbnail shot in. Oh, it's such a weird feeling. Suffering through a workout, you gotta pause for a thumbnail. And obviously I know there are other ways to make a thumbnail, but this channel is 80-20 principle. 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, whatever you want to call it. Get it done in an efficient way, but ideally also an effective way. Video coming up on that. Okay. Oh. Oh, the heavy barbells, my friend. My friend loves heavy barbell. The more I can tell myself that, the more I'll eventually believe it. And don't get me wrong, I believe the value in the heavy barbell. That's why we're doing it. It's just tough to support it with these guys. Just it grows, right? But we're around after this. All right. Two more, one of each. Yeah. All right, one more set of push jerks. I'm going to talk about shortcut, whatever you want to call it, for almost tricking yourself into being content with what you have, grateful with the outcomes. All right, last set. I'm gonna go for more than 5. I'll see. We've got 20 seconds. So. All right. Ooh. Awesome job. I think just like the affirmations, the more I tell myself that I love the heavy barbell, the more I'll start to love it. And it's such a bad thing to say. I think I'm priming myself for screwing up here, but I do love the heavy barbell. I love the benefits of it. I know that strength is a weakness for me, so it needs to be done. I love it. As a result, fantastic priming of the mind, or the body, excuse me. And now we talk about the mind. So if you don't know, I've been working in fitness for 24 years now, helping all different varieties of people, ages, sizes, athletic backgrounds, histories. And one of the reasons that people fall off, and this can be at any level, is they find an arbitrary standard for what they think they should be, right? So I'll use an example here. We do, I'm sure you've seen it on my shirt, you see the type of training we're doing. I come from a CrossFit background, and one of the things that we do in CrossFit is we give a prescribed workout, right? So this is your goal kind of work weight to use, but you scale according to your capacity and your level to make sure that the stimulus is appropriate. And you know what sometimes happens with that and with the whiteboard situation is people see a score up there of someone that they want to be like potentially, and they say, hey, like that's the score that I'm gonna aim for, that's my goal. And then they perform the workout and they do not hit that goal, and they feel shitty about themselves. And the problem obviously is you've set a goal based on something that's unrealistic. So the concept that I'm learning here is that you can choose how you're going to feel about a thing by the standards you've set heading into that thing. And what I like to live by now, and I'm trying to expand to everything I do, is the concept of under promising and over delivering. So the first example I was giving there, you are over promising and under delivering. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. You know, I see this all the time. The people that set their goals at something that they haven't really calculated, something arbitrary, they come out of the workout or whatever it is, and they feel terrible. This doesn't need to be a workout, right? This can be in a relationship. If I set myself up for, hey, I'm going to go in on this first date, and this person is going to be all, end all, love of my life, soulmate, then you're potentially setting yourself up for failure. Whereas if you go in saying, hey, this is potentially one of one, this may be just one stepping stone in my journey of learning about who I am and who I want to be with. Then if you come away and it's not a perfect experience, you've still achieved your goal. You've said, hey, it was a rep. It was a great rep about learning how to communicate with people. And it's a positive. So sometimes people will take this as set your goals low, right? You hear the saying, if you set your goals if you set your sights for the stars and you still hit the moon, that's amazing. but at the same time, it's demoralizing. So if you're always setting your goals here and hitting here, you start to question yourself. Whereas if I set a slightly lower goal and I achieve it, as opposed to aiming low and achieving low, what ends up happening is you build on your successes. You believe that you're someone that can succeed because you've done it before. And then as a result, you can set loftier and loftier goals and achieve those, as opposed to the kind of downward spiral you get by setting them too high and not achieving them. So, not saying set your goals low, but be smart in setting your goals and make them realistic. Give yourself a great opportunity to succeed and achieve those goals, and then build upon them. Use each goal that you achieve as a domino that knocks over the next bigger goal, to use a reference from the One Thing book. If you've stayed this long, I love you guys. You guys are making progress towards the people you want to be every day. And there's nothing better that you can be doing. So if you haven't subscribed, press a button, put a comment below on, maybe somewhere where you've set yourself up for failure by setting your expectations unrealistically. I'll be here tomorrow. I hope you will be too. See you tomorrow, 5 a.m. Squad Club.